Welcome to Story Frame. Today we will see a sci-fi movie called The War Between Land and Sea. Spoilers ahead. Near the coast, a fishing crew goes about an ordinary day until a careless act disturbs something ancient beneath the water. What rises from the net is not just a creature, but a warning, and the captain's reaction only deepens the damage. Far away in London, Barclay is jolted awake by a call that bypasses his normal life. As a low-level worker tied to the United Nations Intelligence Task Force, he knows the summons means disruption. He hurriedly prepares his child, Kirby, for another separation, offering reassurance while hiding the truth of his work. Sergeant Hannah arrives to collect him, already irritated by the delay, and the uneasy ride sets the tone for what lies ahead. During the drive, Barclay masks reality with harmless excuses, shielding Kirby from a world he cannot explain. His ex-wife Barbara welcomes their child warmly but confronts Barclay with the cost of his constant absences. Once back in the car, Hannah reveals that Barclay is filling in for Agent Roger again, a role he never truly earned. At a private airstrip, General Austin briefs them on a mission shrouded in restricted access. Barclay's inability to open his files exposes his lack of clearance, and a moment of misplaced sympathy leads Pip to show him disturbing footage. The images shake Barclay, forcing him to admit that his presence here is an administrative error that never corrected itself. That mistake now has consequences. Barclay explains how he became a permanent substitute without ever being trained as an agent. Pip realizes the breach and withdraws, leaving Barclay isolated. The journey continues by helicopter to Cala Escondida, where armed unit forces are already entrenched. A remote building on the village edge becomes their base, chosen to keep fear away from civilians. Inside, strict decontamination precedes the unveiling of the dead creature, displayed crudely for profit before unit intervened. Austin casually names it, but a scientist corrects him, emphasizing that this is a known species with a troubling history. The scientist reveals a pearl embedded in the creature, a feature shared by others of its kind, though its function remains unclear. Austin insists it be returned, speculating that it is part of their biology from birth, then orders field investigations. Barclay lingers, visibly unsettled, offering a quiet gesture of respect. On the cliffs above, questions arise about why such a being surfaced in shallow waters. Memories of a past underwater disaster resurface, hinting at long-buried conflicts. A powerful signal is sent out to the depths, its intensity rattling Barclay, and the team waits in uneasy silence. That night, Barclay's inability to contact his family underscores how cut off he truly is. Barbara's unanswered messages weigh on him, her frustration growing. Elsewhere, guards monitoring the body sense something wrong as the ground itself betrays them. What seems like a simple hazard becomes a trap, swallowing one soldier while the other struggles helplessly. Communication fails, and unseen forces drag the living toward the same fate. When alarms finally sound, the body they were guarding is gone, taken back by its own kind. The base is left eerily intact, as if nothing happened, except for subtle signs that something beneath the surface moved through solid ground. As the team searches, strange echoes replace radio signals, and the earth yields grim evidence of what was lost. Barclay cannot endure the sight and steps away, finally confessing his true role to Austin. Instead of anger, Austin accepts him as a necessary witness, bound by rules meant for moments that reshape history. Hannah admits her resentment, having worked years for such missions, and shares what UNIT believes: these beings predate humanity, sealed away when the planet changed. Their return may not be random, but a response to displacement. The theory is cut short when another sighting draws everyone to the coast. Barclay is handed a camera, tasked with recording history rather than shaping it. Austin lowers weapons and attempts diplomacy as a living representative emerges from the sea. Through strained translation, intentions clash, yet a fragile pause settles when more of the creatures appear and their leader signals restraint. When the message is clarified, its scope becomes undeniable. The creatures are not speaking to a team or a nation, but to the entire world. Across the globe, phones light up with alerts as oceans release their hidden populations. Shock spreads through cities and screens, forcing leaders into urgent response. A global initiative forms, transforming a historic building into neutral ground for dialogue. Barclay returns home briefly, buying time with money and half-truths, before being drawn back into events far larger than himself. As negotiations begin, security tightens, egos clash, and Barclay is reminded that even absent figures resent being replaced when history is rewritten without them. The water chamber fills, imperfect but ready. Delegations arrive from beneath the surface, including a figure more human than the rest. This being, Salt, interrupts formalities by speaking directly, collapsing the distance between species. Symbolic gestures fail when confronted with the cost of pollution, made painfully visible. Salt rejects official authority and instead singles out Barclay, recalling his quiet respect at the beginning. Against his will, he is elevated from observer to representative, a role that immediately places his family in danger and under scrutiny. Public reaction fractures along fear and fascination. Governments bristle at losing control, while Salt insists on direct trust. In private, Barclay admits his lack of expertise, but Salt values intention over knowledge. She demands honesty, threatening to withdraw entirely. As power struggles unfold behind closed doors, other forces move in secret, trading biological samples and influence to protect economic interests threatened by change. Media leaks expose Barclay, turning him into a symbol before he can decide who he wants to be. Under pressure, Barclay faces the creatures again, this time before the world's eyes. Salt tests him, not with ceremony, but with reality, confronting him with polluted water and demanding sincerity. He abandons prepared words, choosing instead to voice collective failure and shared responsibility. His raw admission resonates, earning trust where polished diplomacy could not. Outside, crowds respond with hope, while inside, officials worry about loss of control. The negotiations continue amid rising tension. Promises of slow reform fall flat against timelines measured in extinction. When Barclay minimizes the weight, Salt's anger reveals generations of harm. Her response is not argument but action, unleashing the accumulated waste of humanity back onto its cities. Chaos follows as plastic rains from the sky, forcing the consequences of neglect into every street. Barclay's family is caught in the panic, and only chance reunites them, reinforcing what is truly at stake. As the world reels, fear reframes the event as an act of war. Leaders issue warnings, commentators call for unity against a perceived enemy, and the scale of damage becomes undeniable. Yet the creatures claim this is not an attack, but restitution. In the final talks, Barclay tries once more to bridge the divide, acknowledging both the creatures' grievances and humanity's capacity for fear-driven violence. Temporary peace is proposed under strict conditions that would upend modern life. The demands escalate, claiming oceans, skies, and movement itself. Panic spreads through the assembly, but Salt silences all but Barclay. In a final display of power and perspective, she shifts form, reminding them of what they do not understand. Her last condition moves the talks to the deepest point on the planet, a place humans can barely reach alive. Despite warnings, Barclay accepts, choosing trust over safety, and commits humanity to meeting the consequences of its past in a world not built for them. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and enable notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.